Hi, this is Dr. Otto Janke with the Empire Longevity, and we are having we got a road trip today, and I get to speak with one of my very, very good friends who I've known for, how long have we known each other?
Kindergarten.
So, what, 7 years, 8 years?
5.
So probably 50, what, 50 years?
Ouch, I guess.
Hey, we're still here. This is
Yeah.
my very good friend, Beth Planck Gray. Hi, Beth.
Hi, everybody.
And let's put Terri in there for a second because she has to be in there.
All right. Oh, hi. Okay, that's good. Behind the scenes.
That's her sister Terri. Hi, Terri. Here's the really cool stuff. Is at Empire Longevity, we look at so many different aspects of living in longevity. Beth, what is your company and what do you do?
My company is POPPi VERNON, and what I do is I take the unloved and overlooked vintage items from yesteryear and just make them a memory that evokes emotion. Something that you just want to have in your home, maybe from being a child, maybe from something your grandmother had. Vintage pieces are all about emotion and ties to the past.
Absolutely. How'd you get into that?
You know, I was working a corporate job and I just kept sitting behind my desk going, you know, this really sucks. This is so it was torture every day. And we did a contract negotiation and I wasn't happy, and I turned the proposal back at him and said 30 days, and picked up my husband on the way home and said, he was like, how was your day? And I'm like, I just resigned. And he's like, okay. And I kind of panicked and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I thought, you know, what have I always loved? And I just gave my hand a try in doing flea markets to start out with at Elephant's Trunk in Connecticut. And from there, it's just grown.
And how much do you love it now?
I love it. It's a blessing and a curse because, like I said, it evokes emotion.
Yeah.
And there's pieces where I'm like, oh, I don't want to sell it, you know. But it's also really, really rewarding to pass something that you handpicked onto someone else that's gonna love and appreciate it.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I was just talking with a couple of young students the other day about having jobs and careers, and I said, you know, there's nothing worse than making really good money at something that you hate, and something that's slowly killing you. And
Right.
Sometimes it takes us to our 50s, hopefully not before that, but we get to our 50s when we start saying, what do I really want to do with my life?
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true.
Your dad had a collection, was notoriously famous for having a collection of bicycles. How'd that come about?
I guess one day he was at a garage sale, and something in him, the emotion again, struck a chord. It was a boy's bike, and he just remembered, you know, riding one like that as a child, and he purchased it, and the obsession just slowly really snowballed very quickly. And he just so enjoyed when the dealership was slow being out in his workroom and refurbishing them, and got, you know, all the paint colors down and the pinstriping, and he just loved it.
That's wonderful. So about you is so is this in your DNA that came from Dad?
You know what? Absolutely. I think about that all the time. I'm like, where did this love come from? And as early back as I can remember, Mom would go to church on Sundays. And sometimes, you know, being 5, we're like, oh, we don't want to go to church. And Dad would take us out oftentimes with John Bloodgood across the street.
Yes.
And we would take some road trips on country roads in Virgil, and we would approach on an old dilapidated barn, and he's like, okay, kids, let's go see if we could find treasures. And, you know, we thought we had struck gold when we found like a telephone conductor, glass conductor, or a broken crock, or, you know, a bird's feather. And those were just such all-American, old-fashioned, great times. And I just remember kind of that adrenaline rush of finding a treasure.
Awesome. So you don't have any special schooling or education of this. This is everything that comes from just from your soul.
Everything. And I will tell you, I am working around some pretty heavy hitters that do have all those degrees. And I don't know, I kind of buck the system with all that. I don't want to know the history. I buy out of my heart. It speaks emotion to me, and I'm like, if I have to get stuck with it, I gotta love it. So that's how I buy things. I bought a beautiful painting yesterday, and the first thing I did was go to the paint expert, and you know, our prices were spot on, and you know, I picked it up for a song, and I just fell in love with it just because of its colors and its uniqueness.
Yep.
So.
Yep. That's absolutely fantastic. So have you had pieces so far that you said, I would like to sell it, but someone comes to buy it and you're like, not so fast?
I do have a story. If I have, so I was at a flea market up in Connecticut a couple years ago, and I walked past a booth, and I spotted this teddy bear, which had a pinned picture, and on the back of this picture it says Howard Webb and Teddy, 1912.
Wow.
And it struck such a chord, Otto. I had a Steiff teddy bear as a child, and we were probably 13 and 14 in our basement, and all our old stuffed animals were in a bag. And one day my dad was like, let's clean out the basement. And these bags that no one looked in contained my Steiff teddy bear. And it was like a morning, maybe in my 20s, of like feeling that fur as a child right under here on the leg. And so when I saw this, I thought, oh yeah, I know it's worth something. But the story of continuing Howard Webb's teddy bear, of being in my house on a chair in a guest room with the door closed, makes my heart full that I kind of have my teddy back that I lost. So he is not for sale, but I brought him today to show you.
So when you get that extravagant person who wants to buy that, you just tuck that away somewhere?
That's not going in. Yeah, that's an NFS item is what I call it, not for sale.
Okay.
And I have a few. You can maybe hit me on a really good day, and I might be like, okay, you know. But I've lived with the regrets in the past as far as selling things that really spoke to my soul. So I try not to do it anymore. Show
us inside.
Oh, well, we have several vendors. This is my little cottage, which I love. And I kind of have like a shabby chic motif going on. So lots of whites and lights and brights. I find these are the items that just kind of make me really happy And I think that probably stems from a little lake cabin I had up in Connecticut, which was all of, I don't know, 800 feet of living, but I loved it. So I'm trying to emulate that kind of feel here. And then in the back, I just have some, you know, Texas local things that speak more to like a man cave kind of feel.
Sure, sure.
You know, the whole cowboy Indian vibe. So
Give us one more piece there that you have a story with.
I'm sorry, what?
Give us one more piece there that you have a story with.
Oh boy. I guess it would probably be this, which I find really interesting. It is a painting and it's painted on fabric. And the little girl is so intricate. And this is from the 1800s. But the detail is just amazing. I had two guys look at it from Houston. One absolutely loved it, and the other guy was like, didn't love it. So she's waiting for a good home. But this is the first piece I've ever seen of such fine detail of the hair, painting it literally on a canvas piece of fabric.
Where'd you find that?
That I found at a local flea market. And I just had to have it. There's a story on the back, which is even better.
And what's that say?
1889. It was painted for in 1889. So it's just kind of cool. I love pieces like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Beth, if someone was going to go looking for vintage finds, so you recommend that they buy with their heart more first.
I value $1,000. Do I love watching Antique Roadshow like Rembrandt? That's just fun. But half of it is just about evoking a memory.
Sure, sure. That's absolutely wonderful.
So, yeah, that's how I buy.
Absolutely wonderful. So I'm here today on the Empire of Longevity with my friend Beth Planck Gray, all the way from Texas. She's all the way from Texas. You know, things are bigger in Texas, you know.
They sure did.
And Beth, any last points for us, and how can people find you?
People can find me either on Facebook or Instagram. My name is POPPi, P-O-P-P-I, Vernon. And the name came from what my kids called my dad as children. And Vernon was the street I grew up on. So I just combined my mom and my dad as a sentimental memory.
And when we were growing up, Vernon Drive was the outskirts of town back then.
Ooh, that was in Cortlandville.
That was way out there. You can't get there in one day, by the way.
Right.
Now it's right over there.
Yeah.
Hey Beth, I totally appreciate your love for what you do. I totally appreciate you, and I want to tell you that I love you 47 different ways.
Oh, I love that. And on Valentine's Day, that really means a lot. And I love you too, friend.
Everybody, if you, I would highly recommend you give Beth a call. Give her you can go on Facebook and find her, POPPi Vernon, P-O-P-P-I Vernon, and take a look at some of the stuff she has, and get her on the phone and have her tell you a story. And you know, a good 2 hours later, you'll probably be buying something.
We ship.
Beth, I totally love you. Thank you so much, and make sure you tell Terri we love her too.
All right, I will. Have a great day. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.